They have drives, Mr. Stewart. I understand, he said, knowing they were not the only ones. Lustful drives. That'll do.
I thought you were reading from Emmerdale then.
I now declare this episode of Parliament officially open.
You're right.
I see. I knew I was going to get thrown off. I
That's
forgot.
kind of weird. Not weird, but like exciting weird.
Reproduction.
So we start this episode with a tale of tragedy. Unfortunately, right before going live, I have just knocked over an entire stack of slabs and cracked the hell out of my first Spider-Gwen.
You joking?
Like,
no.
I literally got it today, and I'm gutted.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it could have been much worse, because when I say a stack, I mean the entire half of only slabs just all over the floor. And fortunately, other than this one, they're all in good nick. So, I mean, it could have been worse, but I'm still kicking myself. It's sad, sad times. Let's say hello to the chat, shall we? Who have we got? Hey! We got Shopper in the house, the man, the legend, wonderful artist. Everybody check him out. He's tremendous. Who else have we got? Wellball. Howdy, sir. Oh, and Omnipresent. Tony himself. He beat the man, the legend, Las Cruces, who was just a frog hair away from being the first. And talking of omnipresence, Dead Man in the chat as well. And KBDM. I hope you are all doing magnificently. So it's just a small group of us tonight, and we'll only be doing an hour. So yeah, let's have a good chin wag and commiserate with me for my fallen Spider-Gwen. Obviously, we have to ask the questions, though. It's important. It's like why we're here. Yeah. What watch you with your eyeballs this week? Terry, shall we start with you?
Yes. Well, I finished the second season of Quantum Leap, and I really enjoyed it. And it's just very, very a shame that it's all over. It didn't end really with a cliffhanger, as they said it would. It did end reasonably neatly, so you're not going to worry too much about what happens next. I hope they do make a third season. Somebody grabs hold of it and does so. But it was an enjoyable series. And so I've done that. And then I did the same thing with Star Trek. I said last week that I only got through half of the second episode because it just bored me. But I managed to watch my way through that, and I'm glad I did because all the rest of the episodes were pretty good, and it ended very well as well. There was some very good episodes in it, and so I've done that. And really, all I've done then is I've been just reading comics. I've been catching up with me Wonder Woman hardback, and I haven't had a chance to watch any other films, but that's really what I've been doing. So I've been watching.
Well, I'm hoping that you're right, and somebody else picks up Quantum Leap, just because I love the idea of the show, even if I haven't watched it. Like I will do eventually. I'll get round to it.
It's definitely worth watching. There's a few stories in there that they've got to make it for the real audience. But I must be honest, there was one there that I thought I wasn't going to like, but actually I did enjoy it because it did it in such a very good way, with the new audience, as is put these days, and it was very well done. And I mean, actually explained a lot to me, and I understand a lot more about that world now than I would ever have done.
Sounds like it did its job then. If it was a good episode and filled in some gaps.
That's right. It was
Like-
that was one of the last of it. One good thing, well, not one good thing. There was several good things about it, but what they didn't do with the original series was he only was able to move within his lifetime. But with this, they took the brakes off, so he was popping about all over the place. And I mean, the earliest he went back to was in the 1660s, in Salem, and that was a good episode.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Yeah.
But so they was able to do that. But no, it was bad. And same with Discovery, the same thing. That's now thinking, oh, I wish they had made another season. But that's the way the season ended. That's not going to happen. There you go. But no, I'd say there were two good, good shows, and it's just a shame that they're finishing. I'm looking forward to the third season of Star Trek Stranger Things, when they finally make it. It'd be nice. And there's a few other different shows that are supposed to be being made, not sci-fi necessarily. I'm looking through the second season I was looking forward to the second season of Frasier. The new ones. The show was only 10 episodes.
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I thought it was tolerable, and I'm willing to let them get better. I want more. I want more Frasier in my life, and if I have to struggle through a mediocre first season to get proper Frasier, I'll.
The thing is now the episodes are so short because I mean we don't see the adverts, but they're in there so short now. You get 18 and 19-minute episodes. There's no real time, is there, to have any kind of real story as such. So they didn't do bad for the 10 episodes they had. It wasn't classic Frasier, but then of course there's two people that weren't in it. One that can never be in it again, unfortunately. And one that might come into it. There's a possibility they might turn up in the second season. But from what I can gather, they're not making it towards the end of the year, so we probably won't be seeing it until the middle of next year anyway. So
yeah, that's true. Tony, what watch you with your eyeballs this week?
Well, I didn't really watch a lot. Monday and Tuesday, I read some comics, and after Wednesday, I was busy. But, last weekend, I did finally get to watch Godzilla -1. Amazing. And it's probably became my favorite Godzilla film of all time. And
Absolutely.
I also went back into memory lane and watched, for those who aren't in the know, I watched the original
Hang on,
Ninja
let's get you big.
Okay.
bang.
I watched the Ninja trilogy. We got Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and Ninja 3: The Domination. Now, Revenge of the Ninja, of course, I love it because if you look right here, we got a poster of it. Classics from my childhood. Love watching them all the time.
I don't know if I've seen the Ninja. I've definitely seen Revenge of the Ninja and Ninja 3. Ninja 3 I love. It's phenomenal. I don't really remember Revenge of the Ninja. I've got to watch it again, to be honest.
Revenge is the one where he comes from Japan with his buddy Braden and starts selling dolls, and the dolls have heroin in them, and his buddy ends up being a rogue ninja. And some really bad. They try throwing some really bad Italian mobsters, and it's great B movie fun. You get to see all the neat little ninja stuff like the belt buckle throwing star and stuff like that. They're good fun. Shokazugi is a legend.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Myself, I really haven't been watching an awful lot with my eyeballs this week. Other than I'm catching up in AEW. We're a week away from their huge stadium show in the UK, which is at Wembley Stadium. So I'm really excited. We got pretty good seats this year. But for one reason or another, I sort of left it slip. So I was about 2 months behind at the beginning of the week, and now I'm about 2 weeks behind. So I'm nearly there, catching up. And I also watched a show that a Badger recommended to me called Black Ops, which is a BBC comedy action buddy show. It's only about, I want to say, 6 or 7 episodes. It's two black what are they called? Community police. I forget what they call them. But they're basically not real police. They sort of just do stuff for the community liaison type stuff. And they get embroiled into this drug ring. And it's sort of a buddy like comedy. It's quite funny. I recommend it. Like it's not a classic or anything. It's not changing the world, but like I really, it was a fun evening's watch because you can get it. They're only half an hour episodes. You can watch it all in one go, pretty much. Hey, Grey Man's in the building. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I've seen. Brian, how you doing, sir? So let's have a look in the chat. Other people.
I like Fuzzy's comment about Nathan Fillion overacting. And never in this day overacting.
Really? Like I liked Firefly quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's a great show. I fair enough, Fuzzy. I'm with you. I mean, Nathan Fillion is probably an acquired taste, but it's a taste that quite a lot of people have. I have to say, like he's well liked.
Enjoy Castle and saying The Rookie as well. But so that's
I loved Castle.
They've shortened that as well now with The Rookie. I think that was they only had 10 episodes in that season, or they've just gone for rest. But I haven't seen any more episodes of the latest of that.
Wellbore watched Iron Claw on the return flight. I saw that a couple of weeks ago, and I liked it. But I'm very familiar with the story anyway, so perhaps maybe I knew too much about it going in. If you only sort of know about it,
I grew up watching the Von Erichs wrestle. So I mean,
right? Yeah. I mean, they there's no denying their place in wrestling history. Like it's a perfect. It's a insanely tragic story, unfortunately. Yeah. So. Like, there's not many laughs to be had with like what happened to that family. It's just horrible. But hey, and actually, not so long ago, the Kevin Von Erich's sons won the Ring of Honor Trios Tag Championships with Dustin Rhodes. Yep. So it's nice to see the family still going and hopefully being healthy and living for a very long time. Like that's what we want, because what happened to them was tragic.
For the very short time she wrestled, I enjoyed watching Lacey Von Erich. So I mean,
yeah, she was an interesting. Never really got much further than the basics. I would say, she needed a lot more seasoning. Unfortunately, never got around to it. Chris Bell, House of the Dragon season 2. I loved it. Honestly, I loved House of the Dragon season 2. So, but I can see why you might think that. My man Trev's in the house. Love Trev. Yes. So, a fairly brief week of watchings, really. But it happens. But that's why we also ask, what read you this week? And let's start with Terry. What read you this week?
I've been reading, read the comics, but one of my favourite things I've read this week is this one. I love this cover. When I saw this cover, I had to get 2, so I got one for my display wall. I think so. It's brilliant. It should have been sideways. It would have looked a lot better sideways. Got more of it, but it's actually it's a brilliant read. It's not to do with the Absolute because they've doing a 3-story arc. This was issue 1068. There's 1067 was the first part, and obviously 1069 is the third part. But it's out. It's set in these early years. The story is set in these early years, and so it's not quite as powerful, supposedly, and all the rest of it. But the story is so brilliant. The art in it's lovely, and it's a fantastic read. It's old Superman. It's more like the Bronze Age Superman than more of the modern age stuff. It's really good. There's Rifters. This is so off the wall. It's absolutely crazy. Half the time you don't know what's really properly going on, but so you have to read it again to to do it. But it's a really, really, you know, I don't know how many issues there's going to be, but it's really, really funny. It shouldn't be funny because it's very bloody. So they don't seem to care what they do as far as that sort of thing is concerned. But
I've not heard of it. That sounds really interesting. I'll have a look.
This is issue 3, so I don't know if it's a 5 or a 6 issue thing. So maybe wait for the trade, but it's very off the wall. I mean, I said the other day it was like what's the name? That Sliders. It's like Sliders on speed. Remember the Sliders sci-fi?
Yeah.
That was that. What have we got there? And I haven't read these ones, so I've got Green Lantern and all the rest of it here to read. And where was it? Yeah, there was Rook Exodus. Just got round to reading that one, and also Rocketeer Breaks Free. And I managed to pick up another one of my Bell covers.
Oh, tremendous!
Unfortunately, it's a little bit damaged on the hair. So I don't know whether anybody notices the hair.
No. What hair?
But no, I can't find the other ones. So just two or three other books I've read, but they were from last week anyway, so I managed to catch up with those. But no, that Superman really got the Action Comics really got to me. It's also my 144th Action Comic as well. So
wow, yeah.
But no, I wish they'd all be the stories be like that. But of course, when the Absolute Power finishes, I don't know what they're going to do.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
That's what I've enjoyed this week.
Tony, what read you this week?
All right, so mostly Star Wars. I'm still digging through my stack of 46 books to try to get caught up. Now, I did read issues 45, was it 44 through 47, whatever, the Trial of Lando Calrissian. It was a pretty good read. Don't really understand why there was a trial, but other than that, I mean, it was a pretty decent story. I did read Star Wars 48.
Isn't that a pretty big point of the book? Like, surely you would think you would know why there was a trial.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was, Mothma gets kidnapped, and I figured that the whole trial aspect probably would have came from him betraying them at Cloud City, but I was wrong. He did some squirrely stuff to save against the Alliance to save his buddy Lobot or whatever, the guy that was in the Empire with the computer, And
yeah, I think it's Lobot.
Lobot.
I mean, I'm not an expert on Star Wars by any means, but I'm pretty sure.
It does make you wonder at the end of it, his prosecuting or his defense attorney, if she didn't rig all that stuff between, Mothma getting kidnapped and him having to go save her and everything. It made you wonder. And then the issue after that, issue 48, was basically a Luke and Leia team up where they're going to try to. Apparently, in the Leia miniseries that came out a long time ago, you found out there was a fleet of Alderaan survivors, and now they went missing, and they team up with one of her friends to go try to find them, and then she ends up getting captured. I don't even remember who it was that captured her. So that was pretty cool. This was awesome. Darth Vader 48. You got, I mispronounced her name, Padme, was it Padme's sister or whatever? Sabe. She's fighting Luke to see whether or not he's going to turn to the dark side like his dad. And at the same time, his dad is dealing with, he had gotten the Kyber crystal from Exegol that's supposed to be really powerful. And the Schism Imperial that he's a part of, when he realizes where Luke is, he refuses to go after him. And that pisses off the Schism Imperial, and they turn on Vader and take the Kyber crystal staff. So I'm just surprised that somebody actually can do that with Vader, but I don't know. And another one, like I said, these are all Star Wars. Ahsoka #1, pretty much. If you like the series, this is pretty much an adaptation of the series, first episode.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah, it is. It's a David Nakayama, which surprised me that it's a cover A and it's a David Nakayama.
Yeah.
The two issues that surprised me was the first 2 issues of Inquisitors. This was actually, they're going after some popular Jedi named Tensu Run. And I'm not familiar with the guy, but Apparently, he's well favored in the galaxy, and it's been pretty damn good. It surprised me, and that's pretty much what I read.
Okay, tremendous. I'm really not the guy for Star Wars books. I just don't know anything about it. I need to.
I'm just now getting back into them.
Right,
Me neither, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
There's never been one for Star Wars. Not that I've got anything against it, but it's never been one of the things. You see, Fuzzy's mentioned Babs. He told me about it earlier. That's it sounds really funny. I ordered it off of my comic guide. Unfortunately, the books they had come in were all damaged, so they've had to get new ones. So they got one coming for me when they come in. But so I'm looking forward to that because it does sound funny.
Yeah, that sounds like a good laugh. I've not heard of it, so I'll have to check it out.
And so that KBDM has mentioned Hotel Volume 1. That I mean, two. I think is better than 1, but not because. But I don't know. Realistically, they're both as good as each other, sort of thing. But 2 would be good. But remember to spell it with 2 L's, because otherwise you might not get Volume 2.
Yeah, isn't that the one that
It's when the picture in the place comes alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't read it, but I've heard good things, so it's on my list.
Well, I mean, AWA books. I mean, there's only 1 or 2 that I haven't liked. Hopefully, on the 28th, was it Red Zone? Not Red Zone. Such a long time ago, I can't remember the damn title now. I know it's Red something. Anyway, number 4's coming out. I mean, it's about 8 months late, or 6 to 8 months late.
Oh no, yeah, that's
coming out. But AWA haven't, apart from you and I don't know when the last issue of that's coming out either. Apart from you and I, they haven't had anything new for about 4 or 5 months. And
that's a bit worrying because they have consistently good books. I mean, the Crimson Cage was a AWA,
that's right,
and that was great.
All they seem to be doing at the moment is Kickstarter. Kickstarter, but all they're doing with Kickstarter is revamping their other stuff. Stuff they've had out already, and just making it posher in a brighter book, and charging you 40 times the price for it. But there's nothing new. And I've actually asked them on their website, is there anything new coming out this year? And they said, watch this space. But then
that's worrying.
The next thing you know, they're bringing out another thing, Kickstarter again, for something else. They're just revamping something else they've had before. It's a shame because the stuff they've had, their universe was started out really, really well, but they haven't really brought out. Apart from that, as I say, you and I is up to about the universe, their universe. But again, it's another one where it looks like the last issue or 2 is going to be late as well. And say the red light, that was it, not Red Zone. They had the books. Called Red Zone, but there was very little that I've read of AWA that wasn't really, really good.
That's a bad sign that they're not doing anything new. Really bad sign. Chris Bell says, "Big read, Pooh versus Bambi," and everyone seems to think I'm joking. I'm so not. I genuinely love it completely. It has everything you would want, and it's Pooh and Bambi. Wonderful nonsense. Prefect. That's a glowing review. I have to admit I did dismiss it as being probably pretty bad, so maybe I should give it a go. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, I'd say I'd like to pick up something like that. Yeah, well, the Ribbon Queen is excellent. But I mean, Ribbon Queen's quite old now, really. I mean, the last issue of that came out, I think, in issue 8 came out in January or February. So I don't Madness. I don't know. I don't recognise Madness. I thought I had everything of the AWA, but I don't recognise Madness.
Yeah, I also love Mad Cave. They're really consistent.
Definitely.
Okay, so I have only read one thing, and that one thing was a very special thing. Because this week a new issue of Transformers came out, and you know how I feel about Transformers. Like it's great, and I really love this issue. I think Daniel Warren Johnson is partnered with the only guy that can sort of mimic-ish his style well enough Like I'd still prefer it to be Daniel Warren Johnson doing the art, but if I can't have that, like it's working out pretty well at the moment. I've got to say, I really digged it. It's a really fun story that's coming along nicely, I think. Yeah, but that's all I've read.
Well, there's guys, KBDM is saying now. I do remember Madness. Now it's just I do remember the title now. That was, I think that was 6 or 8 issues. I do remember it now. But as I said, yeah, that was good. And Rumpus Room, as Fuzzy said, that was another one. That could have had a different ending, though. To me, I think they could have the ending. The last issue was rushed. I think personally, but
that's always a shame. Yeah.
So I think they could have had another issue, or or ended it slightly differently. But it was still, it was still different, and which is what all AWA titles have been. I mean, they have been different, so that's why it was enjoyable to read them rather than the same old, same old.
Right. So that's what we've been reading, and of course now, Mal question time. So if the chat want to put in any questions that they have burning in their minds, I'm trying to think of what's happened this week, really. I mean, my main thing, honestly, is like, what do I do about this? Like, I'm so gutted. Like, it's a nasty break as well.
I think you should send it to your brother in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, take it. Can you take it out and get it cleaned and pressed?
That I think might be a good option. Yeah,
because it might be a luck.
I'm 90% sure that it wasn't cleaned and pressed, so it might be a good idea to do that if I'm going to get it reholded anyway.
This horror story could change to, well, it got cracked. I got it cleaned and pressed. Now it's a 9.8.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I believe it when I see it, but that would be nice, wouldn't it? Like, what was in the news this week? I can't even think. That's because we had the D23 was last weekend. Oh, I don't know. Well, here's good old Fuzzy.
7.
If you could recommend any film with a number in the title, what would it be? Not including sequels. Oh, films. Yeah, I mean, 7 is a good shout.
If you like baseball, 61.
61. I don't think I've seen that.
It's the story. It's the story where they tracked. It's between Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris as they're chasing Babe Ruth's record in 61.
So sounds watchable.
It was made by Billy Crystal.
I do like sports dramas and comedies, so I'm in. Oh yeah, seven's the one, isn't it? Like, yeah, 7's. I'm gonna have a quick Google though, because I need reminding. Movies with numbers in the title. Oh, yeah, 12 Angry Men. Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Love that movie. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Love that movie. That is awesome.
13 Ghosts.
Yeah, 12 Monkeys. I mean, now I'm just reading stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I've got one. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I love that movie. It's so much fun.
So can you count 6 cents as a number?
Well, yes, sort of. Yeah, I think so. Three Kings. That's a good one too. I love it. This is fun.
A heads in a duffel bag.
I mean, that's news to me.
I've
never seen that. That's Graded comics. At what score do you break them back out the plastic? Never. Keep them imprisoned in their tombs.
So, Chris Bell's asked, budget 2K, what book you buying?
Oh. Oh, well, that requires me to know the prices of books.
Yeah.
But if I had 2K, and it was you could only spend it on one book, what would it be? That is a good question.
The only thing I can think of is if I was able. I mean, they're still reasonably low. It's like a 0.5 for a 1 of Daredevil #1. I don't know whether you can get that for 2K anymore though.
I was gonna say I doubt you can get it for 2K, but I'd be going after Fantastic Four 5, the first Doctor Doom.
I think you might.
Now.
Yeah, I think you can.
I'll take a low grade.
It would be needed to be the same with all the things that are going on with Doctor Doom at the moment. You'd be lucky to pick up a 0.5 without a back cover.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Definitely some early Batman. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd quite like that.
What about some EC Preco horror?
Yeah, that would be nice. I think maybe if I could get one of the really iconic pre-code horrors, then that would probably be where I'd go. I mean, my thing is, like, when you're talking that sort of money, you need to sort of make sure you think that it's going to last the value, because that's so like pre-code horror would be quite solid, I think, just because they're so scarce. And if you get it in a like better than like 1.5 grade for something like the severed head one, with the body in the background, and the one that they just recently did a homage for in I always forget what the come on. I'm gonna look it up because that's just silly. I should know.
You was talking about earlier in slabs, weren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know what series it is, but I used to have a reprint of one of the EC comics, and there was a story in there about this guy. His brother died, and he kept trying to figure out what his brother was working on, and it was a coffin. So he actually laid in the coffin for some reason, and it actually became alive and gave its own funeral, and realized it was his brother's funeral, and it dug its own grave, and it like injected him with embalming fluid and everything. But I'd love to get that one.
Crime and suspense stories with
go.
The severed head there. Like, if I could get that for $2,000 in a decent-ish mid-grade, I would say, because I think it's pretty pricey. Even like that would be cool. It's Crime and Suspense Stories #22. It's an iconic cover, and I want it. It's just the chances of me ever getting it.
What I would like to do, but it's not one, is to get. I'm back to with my original Volume 1 Superman. I'm back to 108. So I'd like to go back to 100. So I would need 100 to 107, because I won't be able to do that 7 because I can only buy one. So then I would have to get a high grade of number 100.
Yeah,
because a high grade of 100 you probably pick up for 2K. But it would be nice to have 2K to buy those other 7 in low grade.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They average around about 120, 130 £130 each sort of thing, but 100 is a bit more. And there's one other that's a bit more as well because there's some first appearance of some sort or other. I can't remember what issue it is now, but it's a real made up first appearance, though, very contrived. So they can put the price up.
Yeah. This is news to me, Fuzzy. I'd love to get some trading cards of Tales from the Crypt. That sounds quality. I love it. Awesome, nice 50s type space age book. Yeah, like some of Rob Fatstack's awesome bubble helmet covers. That would be fun. I'd enjoy that a lot because I've got, as you saw tonight, if you watched Only Slabs, which I'm sure a lot of people did. I've got a little bit of pre-code horror, but it would be cool to get some awesome bubble helmet type stuff.
So the comic collecting geek, Alan, I mean, he's got some fantastic books. As I say, I don't know how he affords them, sort of thing. But there's some really, he's got a lot of space age stuff, sort of cover wise. But it's more pretty girl stuff he's got, isn't it? Sort of thing. That's his main collection.
Okay, that's cool. I'll have a look on eBay. Yeah, sounds like a laugh. I'll do that later. Cheers. Would you guys write your own comic? Well, that's an interesting question because I know that Tony has started thinking about doing so, and I have also started to think about doing so. I've got a rough draft done of like the page by page, but not an actual script yet, which I will inevitably get round to eventually. Yeah.
I have a plot outline done and some characters created, but that's about it.
I think it's really feasible to get one off the ground, and I think it'd be fun to have a Dr. Von Hoop's comics from the Spiral Dimension like comic. I mean, why not? Like, well, I mean, I say why not. The issue is I have absolutely no artistic talent at all.
Me neither.
So it would require like me hiring an artist and getting it done. But like, I think it's a feasible thing to do. I've just got to make sure that the script's there first, and have all my ducks in a row, as it were. So yes, maybe.
I used to make up plenty of stories when I was a lot younger. I mean, I'm sure I could think of something, but again, would need somebody to draw it. I've got no chance.
Fuzzy, you can have a DVH mug already. You can buy it at my merch store. A good plug there.
And let's not forget the School of Dance shirt.
Yes. Like the thing is, with all the merch and stuff, realistically, I just make it so that I can buy it for when I do a giveaway because it's a fun thing to do. Yeah. But because they are expensive, and I don't expect anybody to fork out the sort of money it costs, but it's fun. Well, I mean, thank you. Like that gives me confidence because that is exactly what you would be getting. Because the plan is for like myself and the Badger to be your sort of crypt keeper character that would introduce the start of the book and end the book, but it be about an anthology of sort of different horror tales. So
tales from the Spiral Dimension.
Yeah, Tony's like
watch yourself.
I'm very, very I mean, you're
Just
looking into the future there.
But surely it'd be a home and away one because you wouldn't want to slash any of the neighbours.
Well, my thinking was if Neighbours had really gone away, because it was cancelled not that long ago and it came back thanks to Amazon. If it had gone away and stayed away, I would have made a play to try and get like the rights at one point to make an official Neighbours comic, just because why not? But now of course it's back and it's big business, so there's no point in thinking about it. Helen Daniels zombie. Yeah, now we're talking.
Done a Viz version of it, can't you?
Tremendous. I love it. Yeah. I have a story for the first issue, so like it is planned. So we'll see whether it ever materializes.
Well, my ideas are mostly short stories or could be novels, but I've actually thought about the comic thing too.
Yeah, we've spoken a little bit about it, but obviously, you don't. I mean, if you're anything like me, you don't want to tell too much before anything's in place, as it were. Like, but it's a fun thing to think about anyway, even if it never happens. Like, creating stories is it's a fun thing to do, especially with like-minded people. I remember the ideas.
I remember something like, I don't know, it must have been 55 years ago when I was just, I was still at school, and I wrote a story for a competition, a composition, I should say, for a competition, and also it was to go through for your you get points for it for your sort of GCSE kind of thing. It wasn't GCSEs then, but whatever they were, I can't remember now. But I wrote a story and I got like 100. I got really high marks and I won the competition. But I hadn't finished the story. It was a sci-fi story I'd written, and I mean I got the idea through reading comics, but sci-fi. But they would never give it back to me. I wanted to take it back to finish it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, so I was to say nowadays you'd have been able to printed it and pasted it and whatever and kept
it of course, yeah.
But then it was pen and paper. But I wish I always wanted to finish it, because I mean it was a hell of a lot. I mean I think I got 3/4 of the way into the story, and then the time the bell went. That was good fun.
Yes, this is a good point. We should have a quick talk about this, Tony. I don't know whether you've read it or not, but I read it last week and it's great. It's a really good story. Like the art is not all for me, like I'll be honest, but that's subjective. Art isn't for everybody. Yes, Warren, we are live. So yeah, the Doctor is it's a really well told little story that has a lot of potential going forward. So I'm really impressed with what Brian's done there. It's an achievement to make your own comic book, and he's done a hell of a job with it. I've got to admit, my favorite of the three covers is definitely the Doctor that's doing the Wolverine 1 homage. Okay, Warren. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I think we've run that dry. So let's have a look at the slides. Any other business? Have we got anything else that we would like to discuss? I've got to be honest with you. Like, there's this channel called Comiverse that has a live show happening, I believe, in the near future, and I think I will be part of it. What are we going to be talking about, Tony?
We're going to go back and talk about arcades. Arcade machines from the 80s and the 90s, what we loved, what we hated, some of the arcades we actually hung around, and just talk about our favorite video games, man.
Tremendous. I should point out what this reference is. Everybody should check out Whack Comics' latest videos where he's interviewing members of the community, and with a series of like random and bizarre questions, and they each get asked the same questions. And one of the questions is about Comic Journey and myself, as we are both called Warren, apparently, which is news to both me and CJ, I think. So, but it's pretty funny. I enjoy it.
Cool.
Okie dokie. This has breezed past, but I don't have an awful lot to talk about because, like I said, I've only been watching wrestling all week, and it's madness. Oh, I mean, there is one thing, I suppose, because I did show it earlier on Only Slabs. Fortunately, this was not the pile that fell over, because I would have been absolutely heartbroken if my first of. Oh, let's not drop it.
Careful, you will be. I suppose you will be.
I'm really. It's funny. I don't want to drop anything ever again. Let's make me big. Embiggened. I got my very first 9-9 today. And I am, buzzing still from it. Like, even though I've just broken a very expensive comic, I did get this today, so that saves it.
Yeah.
I love
I just
this.
don't know how they can discern between a 9.8 and a 10 myself.
I don't know. I haven't the foggiest.
There's a bit of dust on it or something.
Probably. It's tremendous though, isn't it? Like the Delotto art is just gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
He's wonderful. And
it looks like a photograph, doesn't it? Doesn't
Yeah, it really does.
It does.
The guy is incredible. This kind of thing just like completely melts my mind because I am so limited in my artistic capability that I can't even fathom how someone would do this. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, it's gorgeous. Yes, and a 9.9 to boot. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a bit of me that absolutely agrees with you, Grey Man. Yeah. Like, I just think like they must be splitting hairs. Like at that point, what's the freaking difference? Like,
yeah.
But hey, I've got it. Good to see you. Yeah. So that's what I've got today. So what's coming up on your channel, Terry?
Well, I'm hoping to do. I was planning on doing a 1962 for Superman, which I probably will do. Not so many people have watched part 2 of 1961 for some reason, so I was thought I'd mix it up a bit. So I think I'll do some of them from the Batman collection. I mean, my Batman collection only starts from 1970 rather than 57. I can't afford 13 years worth of Batman and Detective. I mean, some of them are crazy. Well, like the one you showed on Only Slabs. I mean, that's part of the reason I give up going further back from issue 396 of Detective, because you've got things like that come up, and even I don't know. That 2.5 there probably cost you a couple of thousand, or getting close to it, I would have thought. So I just can't afford those sort of prices on some of these books, and with those books, so many of them. They're construed as first appearances or all that sort of stuff. I'm really construed. I mean, I was watching Joe on Anachromic Comics earlier, one of the members only videos. I think it comes out to everybody on Monday, and he's got an issue there of when Alfred was found out to be the outsider. I dread to think how much that one costs. So I say I just can't go back to 1957 with them. I would love to, but unless I win the lottery. So
yeah, it's just impractical, really. Unless you just want 1 or 2, but you're a run collector, aren't you? At the end of the day, and it's just impractical.
Well, I mean, to say I'm back to 396 in 1970. We've got 13 years of Detective Comics, so you've got another 156 issues. And even if they was the average price of 30 quid, you're still talking a lot of you're talking about money, and they're not 30 quid. That's the trouble. I mean, say you got that Batgirl, that can be a couple of £1,000, and
that Batgirl was one of the books that fell on the floor, and thank thank
the Lord.
Crom, it is it's unscathed. I was absolutely bricking it because that was right at the top of the pile and went the furthest, but it's fine. So
what I was thinking of is if I pick out some of the 1970s, like go back, pick out a couple of issues from each year, my favourite covers of those, and then just do a little script about those particular ones, and do a bit of Batman and see if people are interested in the Batman, and I can go back to the Superman later. And I would like to show all of my selection, but I mean, it covers a long time because even just 62. What's that? We've still got a lot of years, and I mean, once you get into the late 60s, early 70s, you then start having different Superman collections anyway, which I've got. So that the year spreads out. So instead of having like 12 issues or 24 issues in a year, you can have 36 issues and 48 issues. So then you've got to have parts 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and things like that. And I don't know whether that'll hold anybody's interest. So, I'll sort something out and see there, and also show. I would love to be able to join up on one of the new comic book days, but I don't get my books on Wednesday. I get them on Friday, and so therefore, I can't join up on those because it would be nice to be joined up on the Comic Vet, show.
Yeah, I do love that show. I'm never on it either, just because I don't get my books and because I'm usually at work on Wednesday when it's on. But
I usually
you
get
can
mine
always
on Friday
bring
as
your
well.
last week's books and do it that way, I suppose.
Yeah, but I'm not going to win your prize then, am I?
Not if you've shown them off before.
Oh yeah,
that's my rule. Is like if you've shown it somewhere else and I know about it, then I'm sort of like, wow, they're not really new, are they?
Well, the thing is, I mean, I managed to pick up. I got that She-Hulk 1, and so therefore it meant I had to get the other 24. And they all arrived.
Oh wow!
I've only got one issue. I've got number 25 to get. I bought it. I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. But no, this is say. But these are some nice little covers that of the Sailor She-Hulk collection. But to say I had to get them, and I did. So I've got all of those, all that stuff to read as well now. But that's the trouble with me is that I can't do this business of buying the first appearance of this person and that sort of thing. Yeah. If that happens to be a first appearance, then so be it. If that is in the collection, it was like with the Brainiac one. I mean, that's the most I've ever spent on a comic book. I bought that not because it was the first appearance of Brainiac, it was because I needed it to complete my 1957 to the present day collection.
Yeah.
And that's right. That's the trouble. That's what I'm like with these things. I can't buy one. I can't, buy. Well, I've got to buy the in-between ones as well. But I'll get. I keep thinking about it. I mean, there is somebody on eBay that seems to have a lot of the Detective Comics, and I keep looking. I do keep looking. And you know
what that means? It means that one day you're going to buy.
But the problem is, I'm going to come across books like that Batgirl. And as I've told you before, what really pees me off is the fact that I used to have the bloody thing. I bought it off the shelf. I bought it when it was new.
that must be really frustrating to know.
I was 10 years old, when I picked that up. When I picked that book off the shelf. I don't remember it specifically, but I know I had it.
Yeah.
Along with a lot of those others, because I noticed that one as well. That was case that is actually a T&P price on it, didn't it? So that one, so that one's from this country anyway. Well, it was originally from here, anyway. But I say just so. No, it's just annoying to say when I see all of these books that I used to have, and and I sold them. But there you go. That's the way it is.
That's life.
If somebody had invented the time machine, then nothing would be worth anything, would it? Everybody have a copy of Action Number 1.
Yeah. As a teenager, I spent ages daydreaming about going back to when I was like a kid and like through time travel and like getting all the Transformers I ever bought and just like keeping them in a box, putting them in the loft, and then going upstairs to the loft and finding them. Like it's a weird fantasy to have, I know, but like I was obsessed with the idea of being able to get there. Because especially back when I was a teenager, it wasn't like, because the internet was still in its infancy, you didn't see the artwork and stuff like that regularly on the boxes. And I used to love that iconic sort of Transformers like grid pattern, and but you never saw it in the mid 90s. Like it just didn't happen anymore.
No, that's why. I mean, when I collected comics, in the 60s and 70s, I used to go to the newsstand and pick them off the shelf or pick them out the packaging or whatever the case may be, whatever it was in, because they used to arrive in a big gold. It wasn't even a box. It was newspaper. They were all wrapped up in newspaper, and you used to undo the newspaper, and then you book out the books. But not every shop had the one that you wanted. They might have 2, and so you went to another newsagent and picked up another 2 or another 3 or 4 or whatever the case may be. And so, but we used to pick them up. But I'd never seen them before. It was all every time the cover you saw was brand new. But of course, nowadays, most of the time you've seen them, and you get to the stage where you think you've already got them. So, I've already got that one. I'm sure I've got that one, but now, of course, you haven't. It's just that you've seen the cover a million times on the internet or whatever the case may be. But no, that do miss, as you were saying about Time Machine. I just wish I could go back to when I was 27, when I sold mine, and tell my young self not to do it.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Only,
As I said, if we could, everybody have an Action #1, a Detective 27, and a Daredevil #1, and Spider-Man #1, and AF-15. Everybody will have one. They wouldn't be worth anything.
Yeah, nothing would be worth nothing.
Yeah.
Tony,
Yes,
what's
sir.
coming up on your channel?
Well, tomorrow, like we said, episode 39, End of the Comiverse, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. I'm not sure what that is over there. Was it like 9 or 10? Something like that?
I will check whilst you
All right. Well, we'll be talking about, I'm calling it For the Love of Arcades. And like I said, we'll be talking about our favorite arcade games and stuff. This was actually spurned from, there's an arcade that just opened up 30 miles from where I live. And basically you can go in there and pay $10 and stay all day and play all the games you want. So they got a lot of the old 80s nostalgic video games. So I'm gonna have to hit it. So
my favourites were Asteroids and Frogger.
I was a Galaga guy. I got this cabinet. It's got Galaga on it, and
tremendous.
Yeah.
8 p.m. UK.
All right,
It'll be.
Cool.
So hopefully everybody in the chat will see you guys over at Tony's tomorrow. Is that everything, Tony?
Well, I'm just going to show something off real quick. I didn't buy any.
Yes,
I didn't buy any comics, but through the greatness of reward points from work, I was able to finally get a Marvel Select figure I've been wanting for years, and it's
yes.
And he actually comes with another hand that has the gauntlet.
Tremendous. Yeah. The Mad Titan himself.
And it comes with Mistress Death. Now here's the thing: they got this little thing where I'm gonna take her face off, and I think it's better with that.
Oh yeah, that's way cooler.
Yeah, because this little part, I was like, it don't even line up right. So when I display it, it'll just be displayed like this. And like I said, I could change his fist, and this one has the gauntlet. But yeah, this is pretty cool, especially since it was free.
Yeah, free is always the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with free.
But it became my tallest figure because this Venom was my tallest, and now it's like, that's a beefy bad boy there. Yeah,
I like it.
That's all I got.
Tremendous. I really sort of envy you and Scotty, particularly. Scotty's got loads of them, isn't he? He's
he's got way more than I got.
I don't need another thing to collect, which is why I don't have any of them. But I look at them and think, oh, that would be cool to have all those.
I may talk about it more tomorrow, but I'm actually going to start streamlining my new books so I can go buy my old book. I'll buy the old books I want.
Yeah, makes sense.
I've just been asked. I've just been asked to join another Facebook channel for horror stuff. It's selling horror comics and horror paraphernalia. And the first thing that comes on there is all these little models from The Walking Dead. And somebody said, anybody interested? 40 quid. I thought, no, I can't do it. I know I'm like, it's like they've got about 9 of them for £40 plus a load of other bits and pieces. So I mean, I think these things cost about 15 quid each when they first came out. So I mean, £40 is a silly price. But I thought, I know what will happen. I get those. I thought, but there's like 25 or 30 or 40 in the set, and I've only got 9. So, no, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I've just sold over 100 statues over the last 3 years. So, I don't want to start all that again.
Okay, so for me, obviously I'll be on Tony's channel tomorrow night. Monday we will have an unboxing of Izzyverse NYC's giveaway / AOK. It's pretty dang cool. I say it will be up on Monday, but it is quite a lengthy video at the moment, and it's going to take me a minute to edit it. But the plan is still Monday that'll be up, and then we'll be here next week. Same Hoot channel, same Hoot time. Blah blah blah. So yes, thanks for watching, everybody in the chat. It's always a pleasure. All those in favour of ending Parliament, say Hoot.
Hoot.
Tremendous. And with that, let's end it.
And I don't really know. Well, I suppose, no. Really what happened was, no, the thing is, rather than confront, I thought...
Skip to the end.